Hey guys, Levi here coming out with another video, another knife video. So, been getting curious here. We have the real Bugout. Remember I got this about a week or two ago from my local Snap-on slash Benchmade dealer here in Wilmington, Corey Anger. He hooked me up, so he's kind of sponsoring my channel in a way. And then also the Wish.com aluminum scaled Fakeout. So we're going to take these two bad boys apart and we're going to see how compatible they are, and I'm probably going to clean them too. Both still sharp, both still hanging in there, doing good. I still like my Fakeout because it's guilt-free if it breaks or anything like that. But I also love the real Bugout because of the quality of the blade material. Top quality blade material, and the axis lock feels just a little bit better than this one. So we're gonna bring the camera over here. We're gonna get in here. We're gonna take it apart. We're gonna clean up the knives a little bit, and then we're gonna just see if I can swap the scales over and see how compatible these knives are and how good of a clone these really are. So stay tuned. We're going to do that right now. Alright guys, here we are. So, side by side, we have the Fakeout and the real Bugout. Okay, so let's open these up real quick. I don't want to take too much time on this video. It's going to be a lot of editing. Alright. Alright, so we'll do the gold one first. The golden lady. Ladies first. Looks like I got here a T6. These are a micro set that I got off the local Snap-on truck, Corey Anger, here in Wilmington, North Carolina. Since they're off the Snap-on truck, it was about $300 for this set. I'm just kidding. Alright, we're going to take the screws out. Lifting the scale off. So definitely going to be doing some cleaning up here. That barrel wash is stuck there, so I got to remember that's there and I don't want to lose that. Okay, we're just going to blast through this part right here. What's going on is I'm trying to remove the blade and axis lock mechanism assembly from the scale. Don't worry about losing that little horseshoe spring. It's pretty well attached to the thumb lock actuator knob. You do need that little pry tool. Anything will work. You don't have to use a razor blade. Once again, popping that spring loose. Alright, now be careful with your washers. You don't want to lose those. And there is one side that is smooth and one side that is flat. So make sure you remember that when you go to put it back together, how it came out. Okay, here we're going to clean up these scales with some ream oil and a Q-tip. Get all the grime and debris that gets collected in one's pocket and during sharpening and use. Alright, now you don't want to spend way too much time on these scales, but definitely try to get all the dirt and grime out of there. The rim oil does a good job blasting it into small crevices, and it kind of works it out on its own. But we're not trying to polish these things up, don't want to lose the color. But I think they came out very nice. Pretty good mill job for China standards, and they are very well matched up, and no warpage either, so no gapping or anything in between, just good fit and finish. So while we're watching me do these scales, getting these scales off the real bug out, I'd like to shout out to all the haters on my YouTube channel that came on and bucked up real big about me buying clones and whatnot. But yeah, this is for you guys, putting some Chinese scales on a bug out. Alright, so now on this particular knife, on the real Benchmade, the screws are definitely held in with some kind of Loctite or something like that, some kind of thread lock. On swapping them out, I definitely recommend using a little dab of that on each screw. And I mean the littlest bit, and also use the blue kind so it does not permanently lock into the barrel spacers. On this knife, the screws were a lot harder on coming out as opposed to the Fakeout. This is a little loose, so I'm going to bump it up a notch. Go from the T8 to the T9. I guess that's the thing. Alright, here we go. Still just a hair loose. Now, if you use the wrong size tool, you will run into problems. You can strip out a screw or ruin the tool. Okay, so it looks like T10 was the actual bit we needed. But anyway, these plastic scales, I'm going to call them that because to me it's easier to say than grivery. Even though I might be saying it right, it feels like a weird word. But let's get back into this guy right here. So I'm thinking this barrel spacer is actually too small for this hole, like we spoke about earlier in the video. On the left, the holes for the barrel spacers are just a size up difference than on the plastic scales. Now, it turns out this did not pose a problem on this swap. The barrel spacers are proprietary to the scales per knife. Now, what I mean by that is they seem to be keyed. Well, at least the one for the Benchmade, it was keyed to that scale. If you can see right here in the video, I'm trying to show that each side of those threads on the outside of the barrel is flat, kind of like a oval track for NASCAR. So that kind of helps hold it in place when threading and unthreading your hardware, which is kind of nice. It actually makes for a good setup. Okay, so now we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. We're going to pop this bad boy out. It's going to be the axis lock assembly and blade assembly, all one piece. Like I said, all I want to change are the scales, really. But I kind of want to clean this thing up because I'd like for it to be a lot more smoother. No grit, no weird like gritty feeling when opening it. And I want that on both knives when I'm done. Okay, so here's the Benchmade knife axis lock assembly. The clone assembly is identical. The only difference is the color of that spring. So if you have the steel colored spring, then you know you got the real deal. Okay, so a little more ream oil on this blade and we should be good. Alright, so looks like I may have misplaced a whole washer here. I have that problem where something's right in front of me, but I won't see it. Okay, I found it. Alright, I forgot. I left it inside there. You can see. You gotta pay attention to what you're doing. Okay, so here we are with the assembly again. It's pretty nasty inside of there near the pivot area. And there's that washer I thought I had lost. So we're going to clean that thing up and get it assembled up on here. Now you can see I got the assembly attached to the scale. We're going to do this in layers. Screw through the scale, first plate, bushing, blade, bushing, plate, scale. But it's going to be a little tricky. There's a little section here where you'll see that I'm pushing down on that actuator, the axis lock. You're going to do that to line that pivot screw up perfectly, and then it'll just snap in place. You might even have to move the blade a little bit. Be very careful. Now I'm looking at these barrel spacers. We're going to have to attach to the scales. Remember, the scales holes were slightly bigger. Alright, so we're going to go screw by screw. I'm not going to tighten them up all the way. I'm going to leave each one a little bit loose until I'm done. This way, if anything doesn't line up, I'll notice it, or I won't get off on what I'm doing. But I ran into a small problem here. Those upper corner holes for the screws are slightly off to the inside. But I managed to carve away a little bit of the crescent and get the screw to get down in there and tighten up. And it actually worked out quite well, and you can't really tell. Alright, so I think that turned out pretty good. It went together pretty well. I just took a little razor blade, carved out the holes just a smidge bigger, maybe a 64th, if not, maybe 2/1000ths of an inch. But you can't really tell, and it buttoned up real nice. So I'm going to put the fake out back together, but I'm not going to film that because no one cares about that. We just want to see if this will work out. Now I really want those Bashy Design titanium scales. Hey guys, alright, so finishing up the video. Appreciate you watching and sitting through all that. Hopefully there was some pointers in there and you enjoyed it. Try to keep it as short as possible. But I think the old knife turned out really good, and it's a little smoother now. I mean, I don't even have to, you know, flick it like people like to flick them, and that's fine. I just like to just kind of like open it and close it, and you know, got to work on that. I still got to center up the blade, but that won't be too hard. It's just going to be another time. But we smoothed out the opening and closing of the blade. I got everything to line up and work. I barely had to carve away any aluminum here. I mean, it's just a sliver that you wouldn't even notice and kept the roundness of the hole. Really, though, is a pretty clean swap, and I think it came out good. But I'm even more excited now about getting those Bashy Design titanium scales. But it's not only titanium that he does. He has copper, other materials as well. But at the same token, you know, I don't know the prices of those right off the bat, but I do know that the titanium scales are a little over $100, but they're worth it. I mean, come on. I mean, they're titanium, and he does an amazing job. And I do want to give a shout out to a couple of guys that are watching all my videos and commenting, and that's Winterfar, Street Rocket Joe, and Simple Sabers. Appreciate you guys coming out, commenting, complimenting, and just hanging out and talking with me. Thanks to you guys for coming and hanging out at the channel. So share, subscribe. There's other videos, other links. I'm going to put a link to Bashy Designs in the description, so look out for that. And Corey Anger for hooking me up on the bug out. And you know, a lot of guys out there hating. I mentioned earlier in the video, guys are out there hating on the videos because I'm buying clones. Well, you know what? Let's just take the Benchmade and the names, the Microtech names off of the knives, and let's say that they just slightly changed the design a little bit of how they look, and didn't put the brand names on their knives. Well, we wouldn't have the clones. What we would have are some Chinese made, very well made OTF knives and folders. Okay, overall, all these clones that I've been messing with, buying them thinking they're going to be junk, and I'm trying to do educational videos so you guys don't have to pay for them and see what kind of crap they are, but giving an unbiased review whether they're made in China or not, on how well they perform and how well they're made. And to be honest with you, I really thought that they were very well made knives. The only problem I have is that they're stealing intellectual property, and I do think that's wrong. So I put my money where my mouth is, and I went and bought me the real Bugout. And I'm probably going to accessorize it to make more videos because I find this to be very fun, and I really like hanging out with you guys. So thanks again for watching. I'm going to end it right there. More videos to come. Click like, share, ring the bell, and all that. All right, talk to you guys later.